a very good morning to you and welcome to the platform, the pinnacle of all discussion. We're back again to talk about issues as they affect us as Abians and as Nigerians. Welcome and thank you so much for joining me on the program this morning. My name is Ginika Olwaha. Now, over the weekend, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and the process of concluding the 2023 general election in the country conducted supplementary election in 23 states. Prominent among them is the governorship election in Adamawa State. With the purported declaration of APC governorship candidate in Adamawa State, Aisha Binani, by the INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner, Hudu Yunusa Ari, who was not authorized by the law. But the tension and agitation caused by the move has triggered the question by Nigerians if the commission is poised to give the country the needed credible election which Nigerians yearn for. Now, INEC said about 200 cases of electoral offenders will soon be prosecuted. But the question will be if the Adamawa wreck and other notable election offenders in the 2023 election were factored into this number that will be soon prosecuted with a view to sanitizing the electoral system of the country. On the platform this morning, a seasoned journalist and a public affairs analyst, Chief Rafibu, together with myself, we'll be looking at the Adamawa incident and the danger associated with such action. Welcome. All right, so welcome back to the program. It's still the platform, the pinnacle of all discussion. Well, like I told you, that my guest is already in the studio, and he is a public affairs analyst, former secretary to Abia State government, a seasoned journalist, Chief Raf Ebu. Good morning, Chief. Welcome to the program.
It's my pleasure always to be in this station. I want to wish our listeners a happy new week.
Well, since the tsunami, that happened, yes. Nobody heard about you again.
I don't want to hit you hard. I find you rejoicing and happy. Who wouldn't change his custom? If you engage in political, I should call it game, but we have refused to make it game. You should expect once in a while.
Could it be that you saw that tsunami coming and you decided to give way or something?
No, I didn't give way. I didn't say anything. We work, at least in my constituency, we won. Okay. I was never defeated in my village. I was not defeated in my unit. I was not defeated in my local government, where I was the chairman of the campaign tactical committee. We won handsomely. So what else would I have done? I won handsomely. So nobody takes me all that way. So if people wanted to be taken all that way. But there is nothing bad in it. That is the beauty of democracy. One, participation of the people, accountability. In terms of, you can also juxtapose that with assessment, and then if it comes this way, that be it. Let's give chance to
a new fresh.
Who is fresh? But I don't want to go into who is fresh.
Yeah, because the party has been around.
The DG. The DG has been with us. All the DG of Labour was our man.
Okay.
Even went to House.
The governor-elect was also.
It was also our man. So, well, let's see how it goes. I'm always wishing everyone. I even call on Abians. It's time to give ideas. It's time to give support. Abia has remained peaceful. We need to put our hands. The greater goal is to make life worthwhile for all of us.
Okay, so let us now deal with the issue we have before us, and that's the issue that happened yesterday in Adamawa State. I'm sure you follow that particular development in Adamawa State, where the resident electoral commissioner, there's a Ari, Professor Ari, you saw that happen. They said, according to the law, that he is not supposed to make that returns or actually make the announcement. How would you describe such incident that happened in Adamawa State?
Okay, let me. When you told me the topic, I let me come from a bit of religious perspective. Ecclesiastic tells us that there is nothing new. There is nothing that will happen today in terms of developmental trajectory of our nation that hasn't been there. It's just ability. And I want to take my bearing for today's discussion from Ecclesiastic chapter 8, verse 11. It said, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily. Therefore, the heart of sons of evil men is fully set to continue to do evil. What happened in Adamawa that I closely followed so that our analysis can be complete, like the governor himself described it. I'm not supporting him, but he used a language I would have loved to use. Madness also carried too far. A madman fears heat. A madman knows when there is danger. But in our own case, it's like it has grown from insanity to even animals. Animals have instinct. It's not only an aberration, it's an affront. And it's something nearer a civilian coup at a small microcosm level, taking totally away the wish and desire of the people in a very brazen manner. I was taken aback that in a line of job designations, the rake is not supposed even to be. If he were absent, nothing would have been wrong, because there is an electoral returning officer whose responsibility is to sit in that court, do the vote collection, and then tell us about the process. But you can obviously see beyond the scheme that collation was going on.
Yes.
And suddenly somebody comes and say, okay, we rest for a job that would have taken about another one.
Which is what we've been seeing even in the
that is the point.
process.
That is the point I'm making.
Yeah.
That and somebody from somewhere, an interloper, as far as I'm concerned, whether he bears the name resident electoral officer, commissioner, or whatever, now jumped into the fray after sitting has been, let me say, adjourned till the next day, 11 a.m.
Exactly.
And then he returns with the full complement of state. Police, director of the police commissioner, director of SSS, and every civil defense as I learned, and then begins to announce a result that was not given to him. Where did he get? I mean, that is a fun. Is it effrontery? Brazenness taken to satanic level. That man just appeared from hell. I am taken aback, and like you said, the problem of our elections has never been the process. So when I see people, foreigners, everybody, including myself, say we want to be election monitoring agents and all that, I laugh. The problem has moved since from the voting process, even from the pre-election matters to collation now. Collation has become, and that is what we are witnessing in Adamawa. And for me, it's symbolic of what is happening generally. When we say the electoral process is yet to be sanitized, a lot of us seem not to know where. I only responded to you because, one, this station is my friend too. Otherwise, I've still ceased discussing what I call circle of national stupidity. Tomorrow, police will go to the road and somebody is passing, you want to search his phone, you shoot. It has been there since 1960. There is no food in this country since 1960. Guinea fighting me or nothing. It's been there. Why? Character flaws that ought to be changed. What INEC is doing today has a fundamental or foundational issue.
Now, I want us to look at what actually happened in the 2023 election, starting from 25th February, where we held a presidential and National Assembly election, and March 18th, where we had the governorship and state assembly election. Many Nigerians said that this particular election of 2023 was flawed, completely flawed. Other people that actually benefited said, no, it was the best ever. What's your own assessment?
I listened to somebody, Northern speak. It was from, I think it's from KB last night, and I said, is it of cuscation? There's a word I wanted to use, whereby we do things and cover it. We like to cover it. The wicked people know. Those whose fault is breaking processes and systems know that there will never be oneness in view. The winner, even when he jumps processes, is bound to begin to clap, even when his conscience is telling. But standards are standards. Beginning from February 25, they told us. I was one of those who, even though I was skeptical, having known the Nigerian system, when the president Buhari began a sing song. You know, instead of laying solid foundations, he begins to sing, the next election will be the best Nigeria has ever had. He went to ECOWAS. And then for people like us, critical analysts, when you look at the location and look at the events and look at the promise, you see a dissonance. Going to sing song about credible elections in Nigeria in an ECOWAS meeting. For me, it's playing to the gallery, where, wanting to abridge the damage before you perpetuate. That was military strategy. He went there and was singing it. The next second place he went to sing it was in a Organization of African, what do they call it? African Union. AU holding in Ethiopia. Hardly had he read 3 paragraphs of his address, the president went on another sing-song, sloganizing, I am going to the biggest legacy. It's no longer security. It's no longer economic recovery, productive economy. I'm going to...
Chief, in all fairness to the president, what do you expect him to do? He has appointed the INEC commissioner, the INEC national chairman, and appointed the REC now and the rest of them. And he has given them the mandate to ensure that there is a credible electoral process in the country. So if they along the line deviate, what do you expect the president to do?
What I expected him to do, if I were president of Nigeria, before I come to say my elections will be credible, the fundamental issues will be taken care of. What is the fundamental issues? You can't ask me, a president, to appoint chairman of a president that is a product of partisanship. That is fundamental.
So that has to do with the Constitution.
No. The YSA people came and said, you don't need Constitution. Even if you need Constitution, his party has majority. He just signed 16 new electoral amendments. So what is wrong to say, like we've seen in South Africa, we are seeing in Kenya, we are seeing in Ghana, to say that we will professionalize, if you know what I mean there. We professionalize INEC. Let people run on their integrity and career, and let them be devoid. I don't know whether the chairman will emerge through a process that is independent of the president.
Are you suggesting they should rise through the ranks?
You should rise through the ranks and then be able. Those who did this thing, if they were independent and then run as a system, this resident electoral and everybody along the line that gave him any result that they are now should by now be detained, not in police cell. By now they should be cooling off partially. By today's Monday, by Tuesday they should be in court.
I saw what the man was reading. It was a handwritten stuff.
Whatever he was reading,
and I don't think anybody gave him that.
I don't know. You are not there. Upon which figure?
Because he did
Who gave him a figure?
He didn't even say any figure, from what I heard.
Okay.
When he was
whatever.
He just came out and started making the
so he ought to be by this thing. He should be in detention, not being recalled to do what? Going to climb there that when he wasn't his official. That is what I'm saying. So when you professionalize this, once you see an infringement and where rule of law matters, you apprehend the buffoon and straight to detention, and then 24 hours he appears in court.
Now we have security agencies or security agents, there that actually accompanied the man to make that proclamation. We saw the CP of Adamawa State was just behind him. I think the director DSS was also there, and one of the whether it's NCDC or something, but they were all there, and that means these people are supposed to be law enforcement agents, but obviously they were supporting unlawful acts. If you are saying that this man should be arrested, fine. What about the security agents?
And I said,
what should happen to them?
I said all co-conspirators. It could include state officials, because he couldn't have had the effrontery. That is not boldness. I hope we distinguish it. That is what you don't know. There is a difference between boldness and effrontery. Effrontery borders on wickedness, determined effort to break due processes. So what he did there was an obvious aberration, by cutting processes, irrespective of his rank. And whoever that is a state agent, for whatever reason, that appeared there, that is what I'm saying. If we were in the same place where real people, administrators rule, same people rule, and we're a serious society, and Commissioner of Police appears to aid and abet an illegality, by now somebody should lose his job. But there's no responsibility. If it were in other places, what happened? The INEC chairman, like I said, something that is foundational. I have said that INEC ought to have been professionalized. We have not done that. You expect the president to appoint the chairman and all this. The president appointed this resident electoral. Yes. It's a political appointment, and you can see what is acting. Okay, that is fundamental. Now, second point, you see, I don't like endpoint projects. In my column in Sunday Sun, I kept shouting before the election. I said, the human person is important, either for success in the family, for success in companies, for success in governance at every level. The human person. I have never had Nigeria in the last 10 years called an all-political summit to discuss certain distortions in our governance
the
and
one
electoral.
we had during Jonathan 2014 national conference.
No, I'm not
talking.
talking. No, let politicians meet before the elections, a year ahead of the election, to say, come, I am in government, and I want to assure you that I will not aid and abet rigging. And then you get the politicians, not just party politics, they will be there. You get all the top players from the states. Let all of them gather. You know their names. Senators, those who will be this. And then we talk to ourselves and to say we ought not to kill anybody. No, not one life should be lost under our electoral processes and action. So these are fundamental issues. It is men that send these people. You begin to hear 1.2, 2 point something billion. It's value system. It's character system. There are so many things. There are things even we avoid that you don't know that help some political behavior, bad political culture. The system, what we call the mode of production of a country, can help. When you are not grown enough and you choose on what we call uncontrolled capitalism. Call it what you call uncontrolled capitalism for us is individual, what you call private initiative. Private initiative is a precursor for terrible things. So these are things, if you have this understanding, larger, what I call a bigger sense of this kind of atmosphere, you begin to work at it. I expected that politicians ought to have made. At state level, you meet with all the parties. Thank God for what IBIA is. There are times, you are hearing it now. You listen to elections in Abia, in some places, from what I learned, even as big as PDP is in that state, they couldn't enter a small, is it issue or something? They couldn't step in because talks were everywhere, followed by state, how do I call it? Coercion apparatus. They were all backing men, carrying ballot boxes and so on. Those things come from character distortions. So these are fundamental things. It's not enough to allow us. They know you will discuss. You put it on your analysis now. And the evil men will tell you, don't mind them, let them talk. After today, I'm not sure you will come back to Adamawa issue again. You will look for another topical issue, either aberration. Most times we don't even discuss good news.
Okay, Chief, last year Nigerians applauded the signing into law the amended Electoral Bill 2022 with a view that the electoral malfeasance will be addressed. Now we have it,
yes,
and we applauded it.
Yes.
The problem now, is it the law or the application?
It's the application. I've just said it in my analysis, the human person. You have a rake that is already compromised, and he's supposed to, he goes to the university and recruit destroying our system. He will pick professors, men we should regard as
his colleagues.
Excellence in terms of character and learning. But he will go there and select those that devil have followed to that level, because it doesn't mean that those who read book don't have integrity. But you see, evil men know, they have a way of knowing themselves and replicating it. So he goes there, he brings them. That one, after doing that, he will come to none of us even know how they select ad hoc workers. Sometimes I laugh because I would just hear one vagabond in my saying he has been our problem and baggages of Egypt, and we have taken it to Canaan. That is by which I mean the judiciary. Various attempts have been made to try to, store the part of justice. That shouldn't be. The judges are human, and most of them work under very tedious conditions. Yeah. We don't pay them very well. Who knows whether we pay them untimely? But having said that, I want to say that what should concern us, I don't believe in burgeoning, that is expanding unnecessarily the bureaucratic process. You don't have money. You're not a productive nation. You're a wine liner income earner, oil. And oil is virtually going. So it's calling for men that are creative and visionary. What am I saying? If there has been, INEC is professional and there has been a professional application of the laws, the need to go to court may even not be there. South Africans have had elections, not one person. They've had both council, local government, state, regional, they have there, and then the presidency. Not one person went to court. Kenya just had this one, except for the presidential elections that went to court, and it took just under 5 days or 7 days, I think, crossing weekends for the matters to be discussed. I love what Abakoba said, and he taught me a lesson. He said, all that we're making noise about, if they go to court, can be settled in less than 5 days. That we should leave technicalities and argument and ask what are the substance of this issue. That those are what cause we concern. And he broke down the presidential. He said the president is this one borders on qualification, whether he is qualified or not, and so on. Court will look at it and then decide whether it is a pre-election matter, whether they are right, and so on. And then you give a verdict. He said the second one will be about electoral rules violation, and then the issue now will be, was it substantial enough to invalidate the put? He said, well, that one can take some few days, but then ask the lawyers, make your, he said, give them 1 day, give this one 1 day.
You know, the tension everywhere. Are we going to see more of this if INEC, does not address this issue of electoral malfeasance?
If the foundation is faulty, what can the righteous do? So, until there is real tingling on the cardinal points that I've mentioned, one will be, first, among the political class, there must be a resolve that we truly want this nation to be peaceful and to experience growth. Until that resolve is taken, the other foundations will remain faulty. Then when we do that, we go on to take another critical look at the legal legislative foundations. I have told you that law, from what I had parliamentarians talk, requires some clarity and then specificity.
Okay.
If the Beavers, because INEC in one of their defenses at the Presidential Election Tribunal says,
I think they said it's not mandatory.
He says it's not mandatory.
Yes.
No. Mm-hmm. At this point that where we are,
it has to be made mandatory.
Let's make it mandatory. Let it be that in some areas part-time for any good reason. Then we know we can box in the area and do something but let it be that at any given time that then let's professionalize INEC, the organization. Let's make it a really professional body. Elections these days, in most nations, if you follow, can be viewed by ordinary persons as they go. It's just that there is a system in Nigeria where they say do state police. Insecurity is worrying you. You put one police and then bring police commissioner from KB State to come and man Abia, or the DPO. The DPO in my local government of Kwa West is from the north. And the day he saw me at the electoral pool, he said, you haven't come to see me. I said,
but the DPO, will it be in every community? It's still, people from that area that will be recruited into the police force. Why I'm saying this?
That is why I'm saying. Why I'm saying. Listen. Policing in America, when we see things that are good, borrow.
Okay.
The man that heads the neighborhood watch comes from within. Yeah. The man that heads the sub this thing within a town is also from there. You can't remove interaction. Police should be somebody that is able to interact with the locals. He knows their thinkings back. These are things tested. They are not rocket science. So we said do state police. You say no. It is time we begin to tell ourselves if there are fundamental things that ought to be, we should look above people who like to play on interest, people who like to play on situations, and say these are so standard electoral rules and then recruitment is something that whose time has come, and we must take it seriously. If we don't want it and we keep going, we will be getting what we are getting a very unproductive economy. But let me warn you. That is why intellectualism is good. Intellectualism, well done, is like God. It's a part of godliness. You can predict the future. You can't have the kind of population you are having, and then this country remains this way. Very unproductive. You want to rely on foreign goods. There is this growing grudge to run away, what you call Japa, to go into voluntary slavery. And so at the point it will explode. It's beginning to explode. What you are seeing is the nascent points of Armageddon. Give the next 10 years, people like you that ride good cars. I don't have a car. People like you that ride good cars. You won't be able to pass this road. So it's coming. So it is better. It's not about tribal thing. It's not about even where the economy is down and population is exploding. Go and read this elementary economic theory. So it's not enough shouting insecurity and INEC. You can see the youths are even rising. People like you that are disturbing them, they are coming uprising.
They want to displace.
The earlier we do things correctly, the safer and better it will be for everybody.
Okay, Public Affairs Analyst and former Secretary to Abia State Government, a senior colleague, seasoned journalist, Chief Raphael. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for
the
joining
privilege.
me
Thank
on
you.
the program this morning.
Thank you. I'm happy. Thank you for the privilege to ventilate some of my ideas.
All right, thank you so much. And to all of you who called in and sent in your SMS, thank you so much. May God bless you. Thanks to all of you here, Charles and Stanko, the guys behind the camera. May God bless you. To my producer, Samson Eze, thank you so much. My name is Ginika Olua. I will see you again on Wednesday, God willing, on the platform, the pinnacle of all discussion. Good morning.